You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is Jonathan Rose. Welcome to Masters in Trading Live. Masters in Trading Live, I get on here every single morning. Every day the market's open, 11 o'clock Eastern. Go over the market, go over some trades, hang out. We got 4 topics for you today. First topic, just got some feedback. One of our traders, 77% win rate. That's really good. We're going to go over bonds. NVIDIA has earnings tomorrow. The market is waiting on bated breath for NVIDIA's earnings. And then we'll go over NVIDIA. And then I want to break down the pricing of NVIDIA options. So exciting week. We will move this week. We'll probably start moving tomorrow after NVIDIA's earnings. Kind of quiet, but let's go to the slide deck. I got some cool things for you today. I wanted to start here because this is really cool. So at Masters in Trading, I teach traders how to buy options, how to risk small to go for big returns. As option traders, we could either buy options or we can sell options. When you sell options, you're taking in a credit. When you sell options, you're going to win most often than not. That's just how the odds work. When you buy options, you're going to lose more often than not, but you're going to get paid an exponential return. So when we think about options, buyers of options, we say, hey, buyers are risking $1. You can never lose more for the potential to potentially make $2, $3, $10. Sellers of options might be taking in $5, okay, or might be taking in, 50 cents. But they're risking $5 to do that. So you need to think, which one do you want to do? Now at Masters in Trading, and this will not continue, 17 of 22, 4 out of 5 positions are green. That's 21 out of 26. When you're buying options, if you can trade and be 50%, you are going to do extremely, extremely well. Once in a while, you'll catch a hot streak, or maybe you'll hang out with somebody who really knows what they're doing, and you'll find yourself catching a 77% win rate. So congrats to Don, congrats to everybody in the Discord, but it's not always going to be like this. But let's get it while the getting is good. Let's move on. Let's talk bonds. This is an important topic. Bonds are the most liquid market in the world. Bonds rule, right? We just had Fed. After Fed, the market starts trending. So let's look for trades. Now, let me get my pen on here because this is going to be a little advanced, okay? A little advanced. And I'm not doing this to scare anybody. I'm not doing this to prove how cool I am or what I know. I'm doing it because there's a really good opportunity. And in order to trade this opportunity, I need to explain it and we need to break it down and we need to find a proper way to express our opinion. Okay? So TLT and IEF. When you talk about bonds, you could have a 2-year, a 5-year, 7, 10, 18, 30-year. All U.S. government-backed bonds, right? You could loan the money to the U.S. government for 2 years, make about 5%, or right now you could loan it to the U.S. government for 30 years. Right now you're making about the same 5% because the yield curve is super, super flat. Right now, there's a really, really unique opportunity in the back end of the yield curve, 18 to 30 year. So if I was going to trade futures, that would look like ZN versus ZB. I told you we're going to get a little complicated, but hang with me. Okay, so this is going to be an 18-year bond. You might think it's a 30-year, but it's really an 18. The difference between those is 8 years. Okay? What you can do is instead of trading futures, you could replicate these same trades. The IEF is an ETF that's comprised of 7 to 10-year bonds. The ZB, I'll label these are futures. We are not talking about trading futures. We're just using futures to give us a trade idea potentially in ETFs. TLT is the ZB. They're the same thing. So futures traders, you can replicate your position using ETFs. Now, I think what makes traders different is being able to efficiently express your opinion. You might have an opinion that 10-year bonds are expensive or not expensive. How are you going to play it? How are you going to get a return from that knowledge that you have, right? You should get paid for being right. So watch what we can do. If I go to the next chart, this is a chart of of ZB and TLT. Okay? 30-year futures, which are 18, I told you, right? And TLT is 18. Perfectly correlated, right? They're the same thing. Look at them. They move together. These are two different products, but they are identical. The same thing. Well, here, we can do the same thing with the 10-year. The 10-year is the ZN and the IEF. IEF, 7 to 10-year bonds, just like the ZN. TLT, 20-plus year bonds, just like the ZB. Okay? So this is 30-year, and this is 10-year. All right? Now, hopefully you're following along. Might not need to understand every part of this, but hang with me. It's going to get a lot cooler real quick. Here, I'll use this color's not really working, but I'm going to just overlap it so you can see what's going on here. Because I don't like that green. Now that red line is going to be 10-year. Okay? ZN or IEF, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? We've already proven that. This is going to be 30-year. ZB, TLT, we've already proven that, right? This chart tells us definitively that the green is inexpensive relative to the white. ZN, 10-year, ZB, 30-year. Okay? Now, what we're looking at here are butterflies. So these are going to get a little bit more complicated. But give me the benefit of the doubt that this is 30-year and this is 10-year. Okay? Can I have that? The benefit of the doubt? And if we go back until April of this year and we look at the relationship between just the white line and the green line, when they diverge, what do? 100% of the time. What do? They come back, right? Well, right now, we have an opportunity because they've separated. We're going to go deeper. Crazy, right? We're going to do it anyway. So, 10-year, 18-year, 30-year. This little line is going to be the white. See if I can actually change my colors here. I got to get better at that. I'm not so good at changing my colors just yet. The white is the 10-year all the way to the 30-year. Okay, so the white line is 10-year all the way to the 30-year. The blue line is 10-year all the way to 18. Blue. And this is green. So watch. Blue plus green equal white. So blue plus green equals the whole thing, the white. So the white is here. The green is way up here. The blue, wait for me. Hey guys, wait for me. Yeah, look at that. That blue line. It's kind of like here. The blue line, the whites were down here. Eventually, they're going to come together because it's just a puzzle. It's just putting a puzzle together. Now, I know this is digging deeper than many of you are comfortable going. But the reason I do this is because in order to find great trades, you have to dig deep. Okay? So the trade IEF is cheap relative to TLT. Okay? In our Discord and in our All Access, we're going to get much deeper into this trade and share exact levels, but I wanted to give you a little bit of background on the research that it takes in order to find great trades. Let's talk about NVIDIA. I see Telvin typing. Telvin, is everything okay? Oh, that's awesome. We have a live stream question. Which has better margins, futures or equity options? That's a great question. We don't cover futures too much, but futures have micros. So you can learn futures for practically nothing. Like for a couple of $1,000, you can learn how to trade futures. Okay? Let's talk about NVIDIA because the market is, as we said, waiting on bated breath for NVIDIA's earnings. We know that 2024 has been absolutely dominated by AI. Okay? ChatGPT. It really has. You all should be using some kind of AI bot, whether you're just playing around with it, but the growth of AI is without question. Okay? It's like the internet. And NVIDIA is powering the whole movement with their chips. So NVIDIA, we've all seen these charts. It's gone from next to nothing and made some huge gains. But where does it go from here? Again, just like we did with bonds, let's look at correlated assets, correlations. Because when we're looking at NVIDIA is winning the race in chips right now, but it's a race. They're not the only ones. So here you can see NVIDIA is going to be the purple. The white is going to be ARM. The green is going to be Avgo. SOX, which is going to be an ETF, and then MU as well. So NVIDIA absolutely dominating, but I would say the real thing to look at is ARM. NVIDIA relative to ARM, we're actually very bullish on ARM, but that's not the point of this presentation. Let me get to the point. Markets move when there's a catalyst. So NVIDIA, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, it sat in there and done absolutely nothing. Okay? Last week, we had a great trade in the QQQs. And the reason we had a great trade in the QQQs is because the catalyst was Friday. And the Qs, they tried to move on Wednesday. You can't move before the catalyst. You can't move before there's a reason to move. So we want to wait for those catalysts. We have a catalyst because we have earnings. I think this is now the longest Masters in Trading Live on history. Wow, NVIDIA earnings. Here's how we trade earnings. When we're trading earnings, I hate guessing whether the stock's going to go up or down. I just don't like to do that. Let's leave that for Goldman Sachs. Let's leave that for those who are going to speculate or guess. Small traders want to find what crumbs can they pick up. So if we look at NVIDIA's earnings, last earnings, February earnings, we want the max move. How much can it move from earnings? And let's look at, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last results. NVIDIA has moved about, about 15%, you think? 15%. Here's the question. When NVIDIA releases earnings on Wednesday, are they after the close? If they're after the close on Wednesday, how much do you think NVIDIA can move on Thursday? How much can NVIDIA move on Thursday after it releases earnings? After it releases earnings, in the past, it's moved 12%, 16, 4.5%, 6, 30%, 15, 2. Let's say that we think that NVIDIA can move 15%, okay? We're going to use that for our options valuation. NVIDIA can move 15%. Let's look at the options. 3 days until expiry. We think NVIDIA can move 15%, right? As we discussed, the market is pricing in 13.566, about 11% of movement for 3 days. So either this was wrong and maybe, hey guys, we think it'll move 12% or 11%, or if you believe in that 15%, then NVIDIA is cheap. But I don't think it's cheap, by the way, because we just proved out, right? 11 is fine. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, this thing, it moves 4, 6, plenty of times it hasn't moved. So I think these are actually valued well. But let's go into the quarterlies because these have 24 days till expiry. Okay? The expected move, this is trading about 17%. Okay? 17% for 24 days. Now, how do we determine if that's expensive or inexpensive? Well, right away, we know that 11% is for 1 day. So let's take out, if 11% is for earnings, then there's 6% left, right? 17 minus 11 equals 6. 6% movement for 23 days, not including earnings. And by the way, I got no problem with that valuation either. And here's the thing. In our earnings program, we never trade NVIDIA, we don't trade Apple, we don't trade Tesla, because those names are priced to absolute perfection. We just guessed what NVIDIA should be valued at. We guessed a little high, but it's so freaking close. What you really want to do with these earnings names is find some options that aren't covered like NVIDIA or Apple. Find some up-and-comers that you can find some real good edge. That's what we do in our Earnings Advantage program. This was a lot of fun. Again, a little bit advanced, so I wanted to take it slow. Again, I think this is our longest Masters in Trading Live yet. Everybody in All Access, get ready because I'm going to go back to that bond example, hopefully unconfuse anybody, and let's talk about some exact levels that we could potentially find great trades. Why do I always say the creative trader wins? We want to look at the things different than everybody else. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow live, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Chatty Cathy over here. Yappy, yappy, yappy. 20 minutes long. Breaking records, guys. All right. Hey, All Access. How's it going? We've been talking about this trade